Hey everyone, welcome to Science Based Fitness. Thanks for checking out the channel. Today's video is all about 5 exercises that we should be trying to avoid in the gym. Now, I will say ahead of time, that doesn't mean these exercises can't be beneficial. They most definitely can. And there's one I even threw on this list that is a great exercise, but is really only applicable to a small percentage of the population, and most of them are athletes. So if one of these exercises are something you do on the regular, maybe it's time we reevaluate this movement and maybe find a safer alternative. So let's get right into exercise number 1. This is a leg press using either a barbell or a Smith machine. This Smith machine is multi-directional, so it's even more risky. You can see I almost lose the bar here. I see people set this up occasionally, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty scary. I made sure here, just to demonstrate this, I use the safety bars, and I see people skip this step all the time. I feel there is a much better way to do this exercise. There is a high risk of injury with a low reward for muscle growth and development. There are so many good lower body exercises to choose from, I would skip this one altogether. Exercise number 2 is 2 movements grouped together. They're both behind the head movements. They're behind the head pull downs and behind the head shoulder press. Now let me justify this for you. We need to understand the scapular plane. The scapular plane is more of a natural angle for the shoulders since it's the angle our shoulder blades naturally sit when at rest. When we put ourselves in a traditional shoulder press position, our arms are already in that scapular plane. But when we bring our arms behind the head, we leave the scapular plane and enter a less conducive angle for our shoulders. Now, this is the same for when we do behind the head pull downs. We increase the risk of injury by going behind the head, especially for those who already have poor mobility. This isn't saying that this exercise can't build muscle, because it most certainly can, but I would argue you would most likely be able to overload and get a greater stimulus from the muscle doing a standard pull down or a standard shoulder press. Here we're looking at a simple butt kick, or what's known as a donkey kick. This exercise has its place, and its place I think belongs with those who are new to training, those who are simply warming up, or going through some type of rehabilitation program. The problem I have with this movement is that it gets advertised as a glute building exercise. Yes, this targets the glute muscles and it activates the glutes, but the load you're providing to the glutes here is so little, the amount it contributes to glute development is negligible. If you like this exercise and you want to keep something like it in your program, a cable kickback is a much more effective exercise. It's something you can actually work on overloading, and that's what you're looking at here. Now, these last 2 exercises are both effective. Let me explain why they're on this list though. The 4th exercise is a front raise. This is a staple for a lot of people's shoulder workouts, but you might want to mix it in less frequently after you hear this. The reason for this is based around the concept that in a typical exercise program, most people will mix in some form of shoulder pressing and some type of chest press. These both stimulate anterior deltoid activation, and we know during the bench press we are activating our front delts slightly more than half of what we do in a shoulder press. And during the shoulder press, our front delts are roughly 75% of our maximum voluntary contraction. Then mixing in a front raise on top of this is going to increase that development to that front delt even more. A study that looked at bodybuilder strength compared to sedentary people found that bodybuilders had a strength increase of 500% in the anterior deltoids compared to that average person, and a 300% increase in the lateral deltoids, but only 15% increase in strength in the rear deltoids. So if we take the time we spend on front raises and mix in more rear delt work, this might be more conducive to building a balanced shoulder. The last exercise we have on this list is box jumps. Now, box jumps are such a great exercise, they're really effective. The only problem is that they're applicable to such a small percentage of the population. I really typically only recommend people that are athletes, or if you're training for something specifically that requires you to be doing some explosive movements. Now, that's not to say that you can't occasionally mix this exercise in, and I think when you weigh out the risk to reward, you have a high risk of injury and a low reward. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions or disagree with something I said, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear if there's something I left off this list you feel like I should have included on here. And stay tuned for the next video. Hit the like and subscribe button and click the bell notifications to stay up to date on my future uploads. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.